Hey, good morning, my friends. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here with the MLive Morning Weather Update brought to you by Consumers Energy. And one thing I want to emphasize is summer will live on for much of September. Modified summer. Not the heat of 4th of July weekend, but 70s, some 80s. Will we touch 90 again in September? Possible. I don't think so. Some 85s, some 87s? Yes, probably. So you're probably looking at that, dreaded phone app and saying, wow, this weekend really cold. We're going to have an early winter. It doesn't really have any bearing. If we have a chilly couple of mornings in early September, it doesn't have any bearing, we've found, any correlation to what happens later on. It doesn't, but I am going to cover that on MLive today, the winter forecast. I talked to the long-range forecasters at NOAA, and I'll give you some insight. It's going to be a different winter than last winter. We're not going to stick to no winter at all, winters together. So let's get on into it. We're starting off this morning with smoke. I'd sing it for you. Smoke on the water. I was trying to remember who sang that song. But can you see it? The arc of like a fuzzy white that stretches from southeast Michigan. So Detroit and Ann Arbor and Lansing and Flint. You've probably seen this kind of milky white sky. That is the smoke. Stretches back to around Grand Rapids, Muskegon and Ludington and Pentwater and the Traverse City area. So we're going to have smoke in our skies today. In fact, I've picked out a model that forecasts the smoke. And where you see this, the red and orange are visible smoke, visible thick smoke. The aqua color, I guess I'd call it, still kind of smoky. Matthew Bursley, so it's not going to be a warm winter. I don't use the word warm because what your warm is versus someone else's warm, I use warmer than normal, normal, colder than normal. I let you decide because, a warm winter in the 30s can still be cold to a lot of people. So I don't think it will be much warmer than normal. It will probably be a degree either side of normal, meaning a degree colder than normal to a degree warmer than normal. All right, so here we go through the afternoon. So we're with the smoke, and then as we go through the night, it maybe thins some, and as we go through tomorrow, it's still around but thinner also. Tomorrow you get no smoke and full sunshine in the southeast. Tomorrow is a blazer. Tomorrow is a summery day. Ooh, Carrie Wilson says summer needs to go away. I don't know about that. Connie Ray Castle Car Show or rain out in Frankenmuth? I've thought, we've been around the Frankenmuth area for a long time, and I can't really remember a rain out on a Friday, but it looks damp. So this is surface weather today. Gorgeous. This is tomorrow morning into early afternoon into evening. So, okay, that's right, deep purple. Thank you, Vern Fondren. Okay, deep purple. Ian Gillian, lead singer then? Or they went through a bunch of lead singers. So here is Thursday afternoon, and most of lower is dry. Maybe the showers approaching Traverse City and Frankfort and Manistee and Petoskey and Charlevoix toward evening, 6 to 8 tomorrow. So tomorrow's a good day, and especially in the southeast. And then Thursday night, this is night into Friday morning. Friday morning into early afternoon, the cold front is stretched from around the Detroit area through Ann Arbor down to Indiana. The cold fronts, this one has a little bit easier of a time blasting through Michigan. So this is Friday 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Somebody asked about the Frankenmuth car show. You know, we'll have to see how it plays out. It could just mean drizzle or some patchy shower. I wouldn't say rain out, you know, just yet, because these kind of frontal systems can be real patchy and sporadic on the rainfall. Then we go to Friday night. We go to Saturday morning into afternoon. Then we've got the colder air aloft. Yes, I used the word colder. So this should set up some fairly widespread spurts of lake effect showers, and that's what you're seeing in the models. This is Saturday afternoon into evening. Again, not a rain out, washout southern half of the state. You just get a sporadic lake effect shower, more dry than wet weather. Northwest lower, you could have a period where the lake effect showers can lock in more than dry weather. Saturday night, Sunday morning, still the cold air aloft, still the cyclonic curvature around a storm system, making the air act showery versus drying. And then this is Sunday. And then we go into next week, back to work, and guess what? It looks beautiful, and here comes summer again. This is Monday and Tuesday, dry, and Wednesday, mostly sunny, and classic, great September weather. If you could take a vacation next week, do it. I might even do that myself. I got a high school reunion back home toward the Chicago area. I'm going to go visit my mom and sister family and see the high school buddies. So that should be kind of fun. But next week, again, looks fantastic. If you got an outdoor project lined up, got to do a roof before it gets cold, next week is your week if you're not on it already. So we're about 80 today in a lot of places. Tomorrow, we're 85 in Saginaw, Bay City, and Midland. We're summery. We're 85 in Ann Arbor. We're 85 in Detroit. We're 83 in Grand Rapids. Traverse City is 80 before the clouds sneak in late in the day. And you can see the cooler air up to the north. Then Friday, you can go all the way from quite warm 70-ish in Ann Arbor and Detroit area to 71-ish Saginaw, Bay City to Grand Rapids to maybe 60s in northern lower Michigan. And I'm still doubtful of these 50s. The models have this, and the National Weather Service has this, in highs in the 50s. But here's my thing. The Great Lakes have tremendous warming or cooling power at certain times because of the water temperature. Right now, they have tremendous warming power when we get cold. So the surface of northern Lake Michigan is still in the 60s. The surface of Lake Superior is still in the 50s and 60s. So to have a high in northern Michigan only in the 50s with the northwest wind, you're going to have continual 60-degree air blowing onshore. So 50s sound a little bit cool to me for a high temperature. Now, when you get underneath one of those rain showers, it drags that cold air down to the surface, and then you cool down in the 50s. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be very fall-like on Saturday and Sunday, but, I'm just trying to be as accurate as possible. And I don't know. I would say 60. It'd be hard to not crack 60 on a wind off of Lake Michigan at this time of the year. So that's Saturday, 60s in the south, 50s in the north. This is Sunday. This model brings the 50s down to the south. Again, I don't know. And that, by the way, means the morning, if it clears out in the south, we'll check that in a second here, see what the mornings go down to. We got to start thinking about frost time of the year. Not just yet, but we got to start thinking about it. So then Monday, back to the low 70s. Then Tuesday, back to near 80. Then Wednesday, in the low 80s. Thursday, upper 70s, low 80s. Friday, upper 70s to low 80s at least. Let me grab the low temperature forecast just so we can see what we're going to do on those days when it's real chilly. So this would be Saturday morning. Okay, this is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa with the MLive Morning Weather Update brought to you by Consumers Energy. So Saturday morning, you know, you got some upper 40s, inland, northern, Gaylord, Houghton Lake. You got low 50s in the south. And then Sunday morning, we all have temperatures in the 40s, maybe mid 40s, even to the south. I would agree with that, but no frost temperatures. And then as we get into next week, our morning temperatures come back to, 55 to 60-ish. And now, the extended forecast. Okay, so here's the extended forecast. 6 to 10 day forecast is cooler than normal but dry, and that's because of this weekend's weather. Then the 8 to 14 day starts to show you that warming off to the west heading our way and dry. And the 3 to 4 week forecast, that's only made once a week for us last Friday, but it goes out to September 27th, and it indicates a strong chance it will be warmer than normal in September and drier than normal. And guess what? That is the long-term climate trend, so I would totally agree with that. Summer lives, folks. I know some of you are saying, I want summer to be done. This is a different summer. September summer is different. You can get a 6 or 12 hour period where it's somewhat humid and sticky, but September summer, if you get to 80 to 82, it is primo type weather. So enjoy it. Start making that list and getting the projects done. I got them too, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to get them done. It's going to be a different winter this winter versus last. Last we had two things that signaled to us it would be warmer than normal and less snow than normal. Those two things last winter were obviously the 800-pound gorilla in the room. That is the warmer oceans and the current global warming trend. And then the second thing was a strong, very strong El Nino, which on its own, without even a warming globe, a strong El Nino gives us about a 70% chance of a warmer and drier than normal winter in Michigan. So we had those two things combined, and that's why it was the winter that wasn't. This year, of course, we still have the 800-pound gorilla, the warmer oceans, the warmer polar regions, less ability to be extremely cold, but we also more than likely, 70% chance, have a La Nina forming that doesn't really give us a good temperature signal in Michigan, and that's why NOAA is saying probably about normal. So will it be a cold winter? Yes, it will, especially if you've adjusted to thinking last winter was the kind of weather we're going to have every winter now. We still put the 800-pound gorilla in there, so we take the La Nina that is colder than normal from Montana through the Dakotas to Minnesota, to its kind of grip on the cold fades a little bit as you go into Wisconsin, and really no signal in Michigan. And then you put that 800-pound gorilla of global warming, less cold in the winter on that, and it lifts you to possibly being slightly warmer than normal. But the interesting thing is the La Nina storm track puts us almost smack dab in a higher than normal precipitation amount for the winter, i.e. snow, i.e. mess. So it'll be a different one, and we know it. We know that every other winter is different here in Michigan. You can have a mild winter, then a harsh winter, and so we'll get into it in the post on MLive, and there you have it. But until then, you better keep those tropical shirts out, because you are going to need them. Summer is not done! Exclamation point. Take care. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa.